My friends, fellow YouTubers, subscribers, and guests. The internet has been misused and abused since its very inception. Many of us have become part of its culture. We know the slang, we know the references, and we even participate, willingly casting our photos and videos to the all-consuming void of social media. Some people, however, have seemed to become lost. They traveled too deep and abandoned our way of life. The spectrum of mainstream to niche abnormality has been shattered by those who would make simple by comparison our current understanding of chaos. Ladies and gentlemen, we are in danger, for it would seem that they have crawled their way back out. And with them, they have brought a plague that threatens the safety of us all. My friends, I beg of you now, hold fast. Steady your hearts and minds, for what I am about to show you cannot be unseen. May God help us all.
Pretending to be dangerous is certainly nothing new. Hedgehogs, despite their diminutive stature, they're able to ward off predators by rolling into a ball of flesh-piercing spikes. Some plants have even evolved to enrapture their seeds in fruits filled with capsaicin. And society's misfits have turned to online platforms in an attempt to forge their own identity. Most of these safeguards evolved out of a place of fear. Fear of us. Unfortunately, in the modern world, most of these safeguards have been rendered ineffective. Hedgehogs, while still containing a back full of sharp quills, will often allow their owners to pet and scratch their cute little fluffy tummies. Spicy peppers are now commonplace in our modern world of cuisine. And online posts, well, they often do much more harm than good.
Hello, you fluffer schnoots.
Let's get class started. I'm trying to lose weight recently. Some of you might say I look a little disheveled. It's just because it's hot. And I'm kind of a one-man show here, production-wise. You could say my subscribers are my crew in the sense that they watch the post-production and we all know what this means. Edgy. We'll come back to this. So there's a certain personality type that's risen to prominence. Now that they have platforms afforded to them, they are able to make themselves heard, make themselves known a lot easier than they used to be able to. People that you never would have interacted with before are now able to go online and post a video or make a comment on someone else's post, and now tens, if not millions of people will see or hear what that person has to say. Now, the personality type that I'm referring to is a little something called an edgelord. It's one word, but I want to emphasize the two parts to it. So now we all know what edgy means, right? As you can see here, that's half of the word. An edgelord is someone on an internet forum who deliberately talks about controversial, offensive, taboo, or nihilistic subjects in order to shock other users in an effort to appear cool or edgy. These people are pretty easily identified. They're the ones out in public with the shirts with like a flag and like a grim reaper, and it's like, if you look at me wrong, you're gonna see you're gonna see the beast within. You're gonna feel the wrath of all of my inner darkness.
This one's for my mom. You should never have taken away my Xbox. I can't control the beast inside.
Another example would be like, you know, someone posts a picture of their 2-year-old like looking at a book or something. I'll be like, oh, my little baby, you know, she loves books. Then you got that one guy in the comments that's like, no, no. Right, so we know these people. They're not fooling anyone, pretending to be smart or pretending to be tough or dangerous. It's a facade. They don't know how to interact with people, so they keep them at a distance, right? Or they feel lesser than other people, so they over-represent themselves. But all this does alienates them, right? It alienates them. That's not a sombrero, that's a spaceship. So their tough guy routine, I think that's pi. I don't remember, I haven't been in school in a while. I don't know what weapons I'm allowed to draw, so I will draw, I'll draw a little lightsaber. So, you know, they've got this, and that's now a part of them. What that's doing, that's actually creating a barrier between themselves and everyone else. Imagine these people are no longer seen as weird, right? They're Now imagine with me that they're no longer put off by this, right? But now they now find this, you know, they find it hot, they find it sexy in a way to act like this. Where is this occurring? In TikTok's villain era or villain arc trend.
Back in the chair, I'm back and I'm Spider-Man again. So I thought, so that we're all on the same page, why don't we look at some of the examples I found of this trend, and then who knows? So I heard in 2022, we are embracing our villain eras. Baby, take my hand.
We all have hashtag demons to hashtag tame. Demon emoji, hashtag demon, hashtag Maisley, hashtag...
The other day, I randomly said, the only way to be the main character in someone else's story is to be the villain. And I fear this may be the start of a villain arc.
I don't avoid conflict because I'm scared of you. I avoid conflict because I'm scared of myself.
Realizing that I'd probably be a villain in the Harry Potter books because they are from Harry's perspective.
What are you gonna do to Harry?
How to dress like you're going through your villain arc royalty edition.
Songs that make me feel like I'm descending into madness.
Getting messed up by 2021 versus entering your villain era in 2022.
You're so lame. I bet she'll never go through a villain era.
The music here becomes scary. It implies that she's a villain now.
Does start your villain era just mean you wear like black leather clothing? Because that's actually less harmful than I thought this trend might have been. He's so excited and hopeful about his future. Oh no, no! What does embracing a villain era mean? Like just being like a worse person? Because I get if their whole point in this is like, stop caring about what other people think. That's different though. That's not a villain era. You scheme and plot on how to do bad things to people.
Just stop freaking caring. Embrace the monster inside you. No more feelings, no more caring. It all only gets you hurt in the end, right? Stop hesitating. If they want a villain, give them something to remember.
People like this need to like, I don't know, cleanse their entertainment palette. Watch like one season of The Office, watch something normal, and you'll be like, oh wait, people don't actually talk like this. And they're not actually all this like, I'm so, eccentric and weird. I feel like there's like a lack of self-awareness in these videos, and they maybe don't realize that how they're presenting themselves is coming across, so it's not scary, it's more like you feel uncomfortable and like embarrassed for them that this is how they're. You guys know I would never present myself to you in a silly or goofy way. These videos are very serious.
Why has it suddenly become popular to pretend to be insane? Think the Joker, Patrick Bateman, Harley Quinn. Talk to anyone with a mental illness in the real world, and they'll tell you it's not sexy, it's not something to be sought after or to be made a trend out of. But a lot of our favorite villains are insane. A lot of the people on TikTok going through their villain arc, what does that look like? It looks like pretending to be mentally ill. I would go so far as to say that's a little disrespectful to the people actually going through that. So if we can't pretend to be insane, what's left for the participators in this trend? Well, we could go through a couple of different villain archetypes together, and maybe we'll see one that works.
Hey, bud. Sorry, I'm gonna have to whisper for this part, because there's people having a good time in the backyard behind me. Soon to be, like, some sort of children. Probably a summer sleepover. We've all been there. But don't want to freak him out. Let him know I'm out here with him. So, anyway, you were saying you want to be a villain. Well, let's just, for now, take the mentally ill villain off the table. What are you left with? Well, there's the anti-villain. That's the sympathetic villain. The villain's only a villain due to circumstance. The thing with those guys are, right, they like to think that they can be evil because other people were evil to them, but if they start acting like the bad guy, I don't know, it just seems kinda hypocritical. You could also try to be the Beast. This is the physically imposing villain, the violent, ferocious villain. But in the real world, I do think a lot of people attempt to emulate that sort of intimidation. The problem is, it's typically a lot of empty, kind of cringy threats. But when these people are taken too far, you actually have to cause some actual physical harm to other people. And I think that's actually become quite a problem if you kind of connect the dots a little bit. So let's leave the Beast off the table. There's the bully. Now, guys, we see this all the time. People like to think that we no longer support bullies as a society, but we do. Look up cringe compilation, look up fail compilation. How many views are on those, right? How many likes, how many comments in support of that kind of content? Guys, that's bullying. I'm not gonna pretend like I'm above it. I love watching people fall down. But when somebody makes a video and puts it on the internet of someone who's just trying to share their interests and their passions, and then all of a sudden they're being blasted by millions of strangers, guys, that's pretty sad. If you were to be the bully, you have to realize it is a lonely, lonely existence. Neither the person getting bullied or the people supporting the bully really are there for the bully in the end. The fanatic is another option. The person driven by an extreme ideology. Actually, a lot of people are they're already this in the real world. And it's actually pretty popular. I mean, you could get away with being the fanatic. Me personally, man, I think it's pretty lame. But who knows? Evil incarnate. I think this is what a lot of TikTokers think they are. The kind of person that's so evil that merely by existing, they're defeating the world with their presence. That, you have failed to stop me, eating my Cheerios in such an evil way. I have defeated all of you. But in actuality, it's not all that sexy. Closest to a real world evil incarnate is probably like that guy that started World War II. Now, sure, I'd like to tell you about this next one, but there's a little someone who knows a little more than I do. I don't know how this is going to transition.
The machine is another villain archetype that cannot be reasoned with. They are usually all-knowing, but the inability to feel different emotions. This is what distinguishes them from the others, not them actually being a machine. A non-machine example might be Voldemort, since not feeling love is a big part of his character. This is my least favorite villain archetype, not just because it's a stereotype of technological malice, but also because not feeling emotion is not only an unsexy portrayal of villainy, but emotional numbness is one of the most common symptoms of actual depression. On the other hand, Ultron's daddy issues makes him relatable to humans. Either way, it's unflattering.
So here's how I see the problem. As edgelords are combing their hair over one eye, as weeaboos are memorizing broken bits of Japanese from an anime villain monologue, as furries are yiffing and growling, they're kind of missing the simple solution. adapting to be, or at least trying to appear to be, normal. Now, I have all the sympathy in the world for people struggling to fit in modern day society. It's really weird. I don't really know what fitting in even really looks like anymore. When I was in high school, people would just come up to you and they would quote a vine and then they would just stare at you.
Officer, I got one question for you. What are those?
And unless you quoted one back to them within a couple of seconds, they would just walk away. So it's not like an easy thing to figure out. Now, all that being said, disassociating from reality and trying to emulate a really crappy take on what makes villains interesting, that's not gonna fix anything.
You've proven me right. Look at you. Thinking you have all the power in the world.
I keep imagining these people getting butthurt about something really stupid and searching for answers, and they're like, what would Joker do? In their mind, they're thinking Joker would be like, oh, that's it, Batman. You didn't like my Encanto Bruno ship fan art? Once you see this TikTok Batman, you're gonna regret the day you made fun of it. You're gonna regret the day you made fun of my Sonic inflation fan art.
Hey, I've got some final thoughts for you. You know what villain I think is pretty dope? The villain that nobody could tell they were the villain. The villain that is such a good person, being helpful, being selfless, being kind. And then one day when they decide to reveal themselves as the villain, it's a shock. Right? Because it's so unexpected. Now imagine you spend such a long time, undercover as a good person and a productive member of society, that one day you decide, actually, I don't know, I kind of like it like this. You don't want to reveal yourself as a bad guy. Maybe you just stay the good guy for a little longer. I think that's pretty neat. I think try it out. You might like it. Or you could always just growl at people. That works just as well, I've heard. Either way, if you made it this far in the video, you're a pretty cool dude or chick. And, you should leave a comment saying, hey, I survived this whole video. I would be whoa, I'd be so blown away that you watched so much of my content. You got so far. I won't even believe it until you leave that comment. So, you know what, man? If you did watch this far, thank you. You are a real home slice. And as always, have a good one.